Yeah, I put him in there.
Okay, you added him?
Yeah, I put him in the group.
Okay, that's good.
Put him in a group home.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right there. Let me get the guy on the call here. Hey, so how's everybody doing? Everybody ready to roll tonight?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm ready as well there. Well, so RP was outside, I guess, getting on a bus.
Yes.
Oh, okay there. Because it sounded like you both were like together outside there doing something there, I guess. But then again, that's my hearing acting up there. Sometimes I hear things a little bit incorrectly at times. All right, so welcome everybody to another wrestling show that all of us are doing tonight. Me, Arknolia, and YR. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at some of the best and worst finishers in pro wrestling history there. We spoke about it a couple of times before we ended the music show last night. And there was a couple out there that just, according to Arc, that was just like not that believable, I will say there. But we're going to take a look at the best as well there because these finishers definitely were most effective on whichever opponent that they were when they were wrestling at that time there. All right, so are we gonna? So how are we gonna do this? How we go one by one?
Well, hold on. Let's can we
What?
dive into the Jerry Springer thing real quick? Because
Yeah, that's right.
it was
Yeah, we got
part of
it. Yeah, we
part
got
of
it.
wrestling in the later years. But
Yeah.
what year did he come out on the shows, Jerry Springer?
Well,
You know that one?
he started in 1991, and it was a program that was originally focused on political issues because he was a former mayor of Cincinnati, as well as he winning a seat in U.S. Congress in 1971. And let's not forget, he also, I guess, he did a courtroom drama show called Judge Jerry, briefly for about 3 seasons there.
And
And
of course, you did the You're the Daddy shows or You're Not the Daddy shows.
that's right there. He also was a host of a program called Baggage. I guess it was like a game show for a while there. I only saw one few clips of that one particular episode there. Anyways, so Springer basically focused on political issues, and they started swaying over to other topics like, as I mentioned, the groupies and rock and roll shows that I mentioned in the video tribute to him. He even had Peter Steele from Typo Negative as a guest during that whole episode there. But I guess what they had to do is they had to go for the more chaotic, dramatic, storylines. So basically, it fits to say that most of the storylines, the outrageousness of the Attitude Era in the WWF, came from Jerry
Yes.
Springer. Absolutely,
Yes.
there. I mean, like stories
Well,
like,
hold on a minute.
go
Let me
ahead.
ask you this because I remember, obviously being on TV throughout the years, but like, was like yeah, okay, like the topic, who's the daddy, or I'm sleeping with your sister,
Yep.
or I'm sleeping with a man, or I'm sleeping with the trans, and the trans stuff back then, it was like some of the world's first uh,
Shocker.
stuff like on TV. You know what I
Shock
mean?
TV. Shock TV.
But like, was he the first, or was Sally Jesse Raphael the first,
Well,
or was
I'm thinking maybe he'd been the first, but keep in mind, all that stuff didn't come about till about a couple years later on.
all right?
And
Remember Maury,
Maury Povich, yep.
and then Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, yes.
Ricky Lake show, and then there's another. There was a
There was also Richard Bay, Sally Jesse Raphael, There was, of course, Geraldo Rivera.
yeah, Gerardo, yeah.
Yes, remember the whole shindig that happened on his program at one time where the black activists were going after some white supremacists. Remember that whole bullshit going down on that episode there? Wow, he got ended up with a big ass broken nose as a result. He was even parodied in that Weird Al Yankovic movie. I guess it was called Yui Chef at one point there. It was basically considered, shock TV at that time. It's something to grab your viewership, trying to bring in the ratings and stuff like that. Of course, a lot of times, other talk shows had to resort to that because, in other words, to boost up the ratings. There was a one talk show by a lady named Rwanda Watts. She was basically started out with typical topics like how to fixate the budget, how to inspire young kids to do better in school and everything else. But that wasn't really cutting the cheese, so they had to resort to topics like my man makes me dress so sleazy when I will go out at night, let alone to the grocery store. My man is a sex freak. He wants it 24/7. Or my wife is a pill popping addict. Or my wife wants to sniff gasoline from every gas station around the block. Those kind of topics usually grab the headlines. Those kind of usually bring in the ratings. And, that's the more interesting, the more funny topics to talk about other than trying to fix the U.S. budget, which will never probably is a topic that will never cease to exist. So, but in a lot of ways, Jerry Springer was kind of like maybe it was the inspirations for the Attitude Era, late in the later '90s for the WWF.
Then there's Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, yes. Well, Dr. Phil was about trying to get some resolution there. We got to give him the credit for having some outrageous topics just as well there. As a mom who's concerned that her daughter is way obsessed over SpongeBob SquarePants. Which is understandable. That most teenage girls are like that. I'm just glad she was obsessed over Marilyn Manson. Yes, well. Now, I'm trying to get Danny on the call here because he did leave a voicemail expressing, when being part of this program. But as stated, Jerry Springer passed away earlier today at the age of 79.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Prince, fan
Well,
of wrestling and music.
Hello there. What's up, Prince?
Hello.
What's going on?
Long time no see. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing pretty good there, man.
What do you think about Jerry Springer passing away, Brent?
He's been in a lot of storylines and WWE.
Actually, the Raw GM at one point.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Monday Night Raw GM, they had him on there. And
Correct
it's
on
really
memory,
sad that
yes.
he passed away at the age of 79, correct?
Yes, that is it. 79 years old, he passed away. It was
Does anybody know what was the cause of death?
It's a pancreatic cancer.
Yeah,
Pancreatic
cancer.
Like a pancreas, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yes,
that's really sad.
it is.
He was a pioneer. He was a TV. He was a. I mean, I don't remember. Was that show on cable TV or was it?
No,
on,
it
like,
was on. It was on syndication. It was on several local
It came
TV
on the
stations.
Like
on
but
the
like
same
back in the
channel
90s, could you get it on antenna, or was it only cable because it was so raunchy?
Well,
It comes on the same channel as like Maury, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Steve Wilkos, yes. Yeah, I remember back in the southeast Michigan area, they had those shows line up one by one there.
And they filmed the Jerry Springer show at like one location always, or do they tour around? Do you think?
I think it was always just one location. That was about it. Though there were a couple episodes that were filmed for MTV during their spring break stop. One during one summer there.
There's a video. Maybe you can play it, or I mean, just reading the title. And Prince, since you're African American, this one channel is saying that Jerry Springer was bad against black people, like with the white movement.
No, because the majority of
my perspective,
the majority of
he probably had those people
that
like
come
he had
the
black
show
people
were
on, but they probably got paid
Exactly.
for the show. Number one.
Jerry Springer was not racist, nah.
Nope, not
Because he
at
had
all.
a lot of black people on his show with relationship problems. I mean, a lot. He had a lot of black people
Exploited
fighting.
black pain is what they're saying. He exploited black pain, but then it's like, Brown, do y'all think, or any of y'all think, did the people on the show, we can call them characters or participants or whatever, do you think
Yes.
they got paid to be on there? They
I
got a
do not
compensation.
know. I've never worked on any programs, so I would not know. But I do know a lot of ways. I often and a couple other people had stated a few times that I often call that program at times the Jerry Springer Wrestling Federation because obviously there was always a lot of fist fights going around between the guys and the gals there. And let's also give this credit. Steve Wilkos, who has a talk show of his own for the past 15 years, he was director of security for the Jerry Springer Show for a good number of years there. So they decided, let's give him a show of his own, in which Springer was the executive producer for a good amount of years. So no doubt, Wilkos is feeling a lot of pain over Jerry's death, no doubt about that, because that's how he got his program started, because of Mr. Springer.
That would be a good idea for like. I mean, I know we already doing the movie or the wrestling
The
topic and
wrestling
stuff.
show, yeah.
Sometimes movies and the music, but like that would be good. Maybe once a month or whatever. Just talk about
Hey,
like the pop
not to cut
culture,
off
like the
Wire,
news,
I
the big
just wanted to
news.
answer Earl's question because
Yes.
it ties to his other stream where he talked about the 90s and 80s and 70s
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Uh, I
The one
want to give
last
you
night.
my opinion. I want to give you my opinion on that because I was born in '96,
Hmm.
and you and Arknolia are absolutely right. A lot of people that were born in '96 in that generation do say, "Oh, the '90s are my best era, man. The '90s had the best music. They had LL Cool J, they had Run DMC,
Compared to now, yeah.
like
But
you're right. You're right. They do say that a lot, but the best generation was the generation that Earl and Arknolia is from, the
yeah,
'80s and '90s.
10 years.
The
That's the
80s and
best. Heavy
70s,
metal will always
70s
be
and
the best.
60s and 70s included there because there was a lot of good music during those 2 decades just as well there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And I've been in
if it's to
that.
say that back then we didn't have this political correctness running amok all over the place there as it is now, let alone cancel culture, let alone this
Like in
calling
the
out.
'80s,
Yep.
like in the '80s, if like me and Prince and like Brown and Ark were like, we us four went to the clubs together or whatever. Like, um, me and Prince, we would help. We would because y'all were like the older. You and Ark would be the older.
Yep.
You always got to have the wise men in the group.
Yep.
But like
Yeah.
if we go clubbing, especially back in that time, and be honest, Earl,
Yeah.
a group of white men with a black person or something, that was not as open as is now. Am I
Yeah.
correct? I mean, the '90s were pretty open, but like in the '80s and '70s, it was not segregated, but it was still frowned upon. Sucks.
Believe
I
it or
never
not, you
agree
know
on
what?
that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. One time at New York, New York, around 88, 89, and I remember hearing this in the men's bathroom. Some long-haired guitar player, he had a black friend with him. They were heading out, and some white douche rag, and I was saying to his douche rag friends, "There's a black guy in here, man. This is a place for white people, man.
Wow.
Yeah, he did say that there." And there was this one black lady I remember, and her name was Lena, who I knew a few times there. She was in rock bands like The Cult, Bauhaus. She was into T Rex mostly, The Damned with Dave Vanian. Like one time we were watching the band Seduce play at Harpo's, and she was there. She was all dressed up like a pirate and all that, pirate hat
Wow.
included. And she she was doing her thing, minding her own business, and I noticed there were a couple of white guys say, "Oh, look at that! There, it's an N word," and it's like
No.
they did. They actually said that. I see him. I see the words. I read their lips as they were saying that word there, and I knew what it was because usually at that time black people were considered, into rap music, Prince, Rick James, Michael Jackson, to stray over to the white rock and roll side was kind of like unheard of at that time there. But then again, also at that time, a bunch of white guys getting into rap music, like the Beastie Boys, was
Yes.
also unheard of. Until, of course, until the Beastie Boys made it big back in the '80s there.
Yeah.
But
Whatever happened to because I remember there was a time where before they had metal, they had like bands like Poison and Warrant, like the
glam
soft
metal.
heavy metal, glam. What
The
happened to
gl-
that? What happened to
oh
glam?
well, I know. Well, there's some out there.
Nirvana came out.
Nirvana came out and destroyed
Yeah,
all that there. Everything had to be about
the
alternative
Seattle
music.
movement.
Yep, the grunge
Seattle.
movement out of that city there. Pearl Jam,
Would
Screamy Trees, Tad. They killed
I,
all that
I,
stuff.
I'm not a fan of Nirvana. I just
Never
I don't like
was.
it.
Never
I
was
never was.
either. Never
I hate how
was
they
either.
dress. That plaid shirts and ripped jeans. Looks like a fucking poor person. Looks like Mick Foley from WWE.
So Betty, yeah, it looks like they were wearing potato sacks for pants when you think about it there. And the fact I hate Kurt Cobain over to what
It makes
he
you like
did.
a
He was
It
a
makes you
guy.
like a guilty bum.
What's up? Yeah, exactly. I was just sick and tired of seeing people dress like that. But that was the thing. All the other kids had to follow along. Even all the fashion places had to follow along with that. Layer it up. The grunge look. Yeah,
So
baby.
like Brown
So I'm what I'm saying to you guys is I'm a fan of like the leather pants, leather jacket, and the chain. Like I'm a fan of that. Like the biker look. I like the biker look.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Cool. You know what's?
More like what's that movie? Like Grease Lightning, I think it's called. Like Grease, like that Grease look with the hair slicked back. And
Yeah, the
I'm a
Grease
fan of
Lightning
that.
look that was in the movie Grease. The Teddy Boy
Yeah.
look or the rockabilly look there, basically.
Like your profile pic where you have the leather jacket. I'm into that type of stuff. Like your
Yeah.
profile pic.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Real quick, and then we can get on with the wrestling.
Go ahead. Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
But I wanted Brown to read this article. It's about Judas Priest, and even if it's not technically a music show, we still have to read this article because it's
Okay.
a current news article about Judas Priest, and I find this very important.
Okay. Now, where is it on? Did you send it
Yeah,
to me? Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
send it right
Yes.
now.
Oh, right there.
I'm gonna
Yes.
send right now.
All right. All right. It's coming in chat right now.
Or this
Little
one right
look-
now.
All right there. Mm-hmm.
Basically, the rights to the first two Judas Priest albums were acquired by this company, and I think it's the same company that bought 50% of Glenn Tipton's share
Mm-hmm.
of the music. But the first two albums, precisely, which is Rock and Roll and Sin After Sin,
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean Sad Wings of Destiny?
Sad Wings of Destiny, right? Sin
Yeah.
After Sin's out after Sad Wings, but
All right.
yeah, it's on the Blabbermouth, bro. If you want to look that up and read that real quick, and then
I'm
we can
gonna
get
look-
into the.
Wrestling talk. I'm going to do that right now there. Blah, blah, blah. Let me get, give it a couple of minutes here to look this up here because, these are two underground Priest albums that highly overlooked when you think about it, especially a rock and roll because so highly people mention songs from that album there, we believe it or not. And yeah,
While he's looking at, go ahead.
go ahead there, man.
I was going to say, and while you're looking that up, I was going to mention a couple of Jerry Springer episodes I saw that I thought were unique for what they were.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was one of those girl comes on, who's the father of my baby, and she already had one guy on there, and you're not the father.
Yep.
So she said, oh, it's this other guy. You're not the father. And she's sitting there going, gee, who could it be? And I'm sitting there saying to myself, how many guys do you sleep with?
Exactly, that's the point, That's one of the things I would get recommendations from Maury Povich. You Are Not the Father compilation. There's a YouTube channel called Ray Ray providing all these particular clips, and these are women out there who have multiple partners. They slept with multiple people, and then all of a
But
sudden,
how you think that's authentic though?
I think some of it's staged. It's got to be.
something like that. Yes.
Right? But
Some of
the different circumstances are so like before the fights when they sit down they tell a story whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Absolutely.
It's they're different, so it's like
And
you
mostly
know, I don't know.
And the girls are always yelling when they're on. My man doesn't want to take care of his 2-month-old skin. I'm doing everything there. And there was this one moment where old woman in a one of those go-karts up there because she's unable to walk, obviously. She's saying like, I'm unable to I gotta buy all the diapers for my baby daddy and all the excuse me, I gotta do all the work here, blah 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 there. And I was like, why don't you teach your daughter, instead of buying diapers, to not sleep with multiple people? Because there are a lot of women out there who do actually do that. And there's also a lot of guys out there who want to be the player, who want to be the Mac Daddy, and want to get all the girls, but not take care of their kids. Right there, I got it right here. The article that you told me to look up. The two first Judas Priest albums, Rock'n'Rolla and Sad Wings of Destiny, have been acquired by Reach Music Publishing. Now, the albums that were originally released on Gull Records in the early 70s, these albums will be partnership with, now, let me rephrase that. Reach Music would be working in partnership with the Priests on these two albums and is planning a variety of projects to be announced later this year, including special releases for the 50th anniversary of their album Rock'n'Rolla next year, 2024. Remember that album came out in 1974. Rock'n'Rolla and Sad Wings of Destiny are the two first albums that the Priests released in 1974 and in 1976. Respectively, they are seen as important albums in the development of heavy metal music, beginning the band's 50-year history and containing such deep classic songs as The Ripper, Rock'n'Rolla, Never Satisfied, Victim of Changes, The Ripper, Dream of Deceiver, Island of Domination, Run to the Mill, and I'm throwing all the tracks from both albums all together in here. And now the copy I got of Sad Wings of Destiny, of course, is a double album, which you play at 45 rotation speed. And basically it was released on a label called Entertainment One. E1 for short, as I refer it to. And I guess when we saw Priest waiting for Rob Halford to come out and sign autographs and do selfies with everyone, I noticed there was a guy with the copy of the Best of Judas Priest released on the same label as mentioned. Now, there were other compilations that came out in Gull Entertainment. Hero Hero, and of course the Best of Judas Priest. Now, Hero Hero was a compilation of both those albums, mixed in with the studio version of one other version of Diamonds and Rust. Whereas the Best of Judas Priest came out, was a single album featuring some of the tracks, of course, the same two albums. Now, Priest would later go on to sign with CBS Records, of course now known as Sony, to release a third record, Sin After Sin, in 1977. But the ownership rights of both masters and publishing to the two first albums that by the Priesthood remained with Gull for almost 50 years until their sale to Reach Music. Prior to this deal with Gull, Reach had an existing relationship with the Priest as the co-publisher of band member Glenn Tipton. In 2021, Reach Music announced the acquisition of the 50% copyright interest as well as worldwide administration rights to the Glenn Tipton song catalog, beginning with songs released back in 77, including Breaking the Law, Liberty After Midnight, You Got Another Thing Coming. The current acquisition from Gull reunites the full catalog with Tipton and Reach to include compositions from 74 to 76 Judas Priest albums. And who is it here in the background? There. Jacob. Now, furthermore, in addition to Glenn Tipton, the acquisition of the two first Priest albums sees Reach enter into deals with the other members of Judas Priest at that time period, Halford, Ian Hill, KK Downing, as Reach will be representing the compositions co-written by them on those two albums. 2022 was a landmark year for the Priests. They were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Michael Kloster, who was the president and owner of Reach Music, said, quote, "The acquisition of the masters and publishing for the albums Rock'n'Rolla and said Wings of Destiny was a monumental opportunity for Reach Music, coming long after Priest's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This deal happened with the approval of Judas Priest and their manager, Jane Andrews, and I am so excited to begin working closely with them on the variety of special projects, including releasing high-quality reissues." He also added, quote, "I want to thank Dave Howells, the owner of Go, who signed Priest back in '74 and released those two albums. He has had and continues to have a remarkable career spanning 64 years in the music industry. Thank you for your trust during the sale and for these essential and historic important albums by Judas Priest." All right. So, I guess we're going to see those two albums to be reissued pretty soon there. You know, I guess it's going to be remastered or anything else there. I have to wait and see. Now, the question is, are they going to be as vinyl? It would be cool to have it as colored vinyl, that's for sure. I'd like to see that, or picture disc. That would be extra special there. Guys, you there?
I'm here.
All right, there. I know YR is silent there. I know we heard Jacob RP in the
Yeah,
background
but
there.
taking shit here.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Taking shit here.
Thanks for sharing.
Dive into you want to dive into the wrestling?
What up? Let's do it.
Want to dive into the wrestling?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's definitely get into that, man.
Let's round table it and do one at a time and talk about it a little bit.
Absolutely. There, I like that one. It's been a while since we did that there. All right, so who begins first? You, Arknolia, or YR, or whoever, Prince, me?
Guess I could begin.
Go right ahead,
I think
dude.
one of my favorite ones goes back a little ways. I always liked Jake Roberts' DDT. Now, the Stunner, some of the other stuff are variations on that. End of Days, the one Miz does, I forgot the name of it.
Skull Crushing Finale.
Yeah. Those are variations of the DDT, but Jake Roberts originally did the DDT, and I liked it.
Yeah, Jake Roberts had one of the best moves, which is still done to this day.
Yep.
Yeah, the DTD is probably one that, I guess the idea of that is that you ram your heads, the top of your opponent's head onto the mat there, causing them to be blacked out or something like that. Go ahead.
Brown, go ahead. Brown, go ahead and add Joe Cronin to the call.
Okay.
Big wrestling fan, Joe Cronin.
Oh, does he want to come on the call there?
Can I go?
Yeah,
next?
we'll put him on there.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead, Prince.
Let me do it. Go ahead.
My favorite, if you don't mind me going next, my favorite was Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, Sweet Chin Music, the Super Kick, which is demonstrated in all of wrestling now. They're all doing super kicks now. But the way he perfected that move is like it's classic because he made it look so realistic, and I think he got it from Texas legend Chuck Norris with the roundhouse kick.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. You know, props to Chuck Norris there as well. Okay, give me a couple of minutes there.
What did you think? A question for Noya. What did you think of Stone Cold Stunner, which was done by
Stone Cold Steve Austin? Yeah.
Stone Cold
I
Steve.
liked it. It was a nice variation, but it was essentially a backwards DDT.
Yeah.
And then you got Randy Orton's.
RKO.
Yeah, that's a stunner type move,
Yes, exactly.
but it's different.
Yeah, it's different because Randy's using his whole body, whereas Austin just lands on his ass there.
One move that I don't understand is Triple H's pedigree. Like, what is it? Like, what is that type of move? The
It's
pedigree.
kind of like a DDT in the way where your head is rammed into the mat,
Well,
but
it's
it
kind of more like a pile driver.
yeah, kind of a pile driver and a DDT mixed in together there. Either way, your head is supposed to go right into the canvas, knocking you out, and your head is like held
But it
between
looks
the
like that move
legs.
is so dangerous to do because it looks like your knees is landing on his spinal cord, like on
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah. Then you got the Styles Clash, that thing where he, I
Oh,
guess,
that's
turns the guy. That looks dangerous to me.
that move will mess you up for real.
Who could
I think
not
that move will probably paralyze you.
who could not forget the DDT Jake the Snake did on Ricky Steamboat that Saturday night's main event at one time?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh my
because
God.
even Jake the Snake was worried, like, oh gosh, I think I killed him. I think I did some damage because Ricky was not moving afterwards there. You
Oh,
got to
he
remember,
wasn't.
you got to plan these moves ahead of time because one botch, one mistake, and boom, that person could be injured for life or paralyzed for life. It happened to one wrestler who whose tag team was somebody else to take on the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and
Yeah.
Marty Jannetty. I'm sure you heard
Yeah.
about that scenario.
Yes. Yes. But the rules in the indies, in the indie wrestling, and in the major leagues, protect yourself, protect your opponent. Those are the rules.
Absolutely, and the same thing with all the major companies. You gotta, if someone's gonna land on you, you have to catch them instead of just letting it fall on you and injure the both of us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the Undertaker's, what was it, Tombstone Pile Driver?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
That was pretty close to a stunner or a DDT.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A
Yes.
little bit different, but it was, it's still the same principle.
Yeah. Who cannot forget Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful's pile driver there?
Oh yeah.
He was
And
like
of
the
course,
math. Go ahead,
of course, you remember the time Owen Hart did a pile driver on
Austin.
Austin and hurt him.
Yeah, absolutely. There. Yeah, he didn't do it right apparently, and
Kind of stifle his career because
yeah.
after that, Stone Cold wasn't the same after that.
Yeah, it did. He had to resort to the brawling persona. He had to brawl in the ring instead of being a technical wrestler. But then again, what can you do? I mean, when you think about it, when you have a massive injury, you got to watch how you wrestle nowadays. Look at what happened with Triple H when he tore his quad during that tag match with Austin and the Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho.
Yes.
He tore his quad, but was still able to finish the match. But he had to have lots of surgery, a lot of months to recuperate. And I guess he had to wrestle different now, just in case of just preventing him from tearing that quad again. Because who understand that's a horrible thing to go through, man. Because I guess the quad is considered one of your muscles.
I hate to say his name because he's banned from pro wrestling, but his finisher move from the top rope caused him a lot of damage to his skull.
I know.
Benoit's move, that Bronco Buster move from the top rope. He called
Yes,
it.
I know. Yes, I know who you're speaking of. Yeah. Well,
That
let's
move.
not.
No, I'm just saying the move. I'm not talking about the person. The move
I'm
itself
not.
was
I'm
very
not
dangerous.
just sure what the move was called, but you're right. The same thing happened with Jimmy Superfly Snuka. He was
Yeah.
he was suffering from dementia from doing those kind of moves because you're using your head, and when you take too many blows to the head, that's going to cause a lot of brain damage. And pro wrestlers are not the only ones. Football players have went through the same thing as well there. Even in boxing. Look
That's
what
why.
happened to Muhammad Ali. He had Parkinson's
Yeah.
disease from all
And
those
that's why they
blows.
didn't allow chair shots to the head in pro wrestling no more.
Exactly. That's why you don't see him no more. You're right about that, man. Heads could be the back, could be the shoulder, the legs, but not on the head anymore. Nope.
Yeah, Edge and Christian used to do that chair concerto thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did
With
that on
chairs.
Mick. Yeah, they did that with Mick Foley one time. They both took chairs and they both supposedly smacked him on the head with both those chairs when they actually smacked the chairs together, and Mick Foley just dropped to the ground selling it.
Who can't forget about the Hell in a Cell that Mick Foley had with Taker? That
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we actually talked about that last week. That
See,
was amazing.
What do you feel about
I was scared.
submission? What is your favorite submission moves? Signature moves?
Figure
Figure four
four.
Because
sharpshooter.
obviously, like mine would be the classic. Obviously, your Ric Flair, your figure four, but I like the Scorpion Deathlock by Sting
Oh yeah,
because I
nice.
started watching WCW first.
It's
So
actually the sharpshooter. The Scorpion Deathlock is actually.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, exactly. The sharpshooter, another submission hold by Bret the Hitman Hart and his younger brother Owen, and of course now carried on by Natalia Neihart.
Yes.
Yes, and let's not also forget the armbar
Yeah,
that
well,
Ronda Rousey does.
yeah, and then Charlotte does a variation on the figure four, the figure eight,
Mm-hmm.
which acrobatic as heck.
Mm.
Yeah, she just puts a bridge to it. She just bridges up with hers.
Yeah.
Great to Hammer Valentine. He did it just as well there, as well as Tito Santana. And if I
And,
understand, that move is supposed to put a
oh,
leg
and,
right against your kneecap and bend it the opposite way.
and speaking of wrestling, I don't know if you guys heard this or not. The Million Dollar Man's son, Ted DiBiase, went to jail for stealing money from a bank. He was supposed to do something with it, but I guess he took it and bought a boat and
What was
he did
his
all types.
name? Because he was in Legacy, the faction
Yeah,
with Randy
I
Orton.
think
What
it
was his
was
name?
Ted DiBiase Jr. I think
yeah,
it may have been.
Was it Junior?
I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
All right. Who was
He's-
the other guy in Legacy? I think it was
Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton.
yeah, Rhodes. Rhodes and Orton. Yeah, it is Ted DiBiase Jr. Wow.
Yep.
that's crazy that he harbored all that money like that. That is crazy.
But then again, you also got to remember a lot of some of the other pro wrestlers that are not signed to the big companies like AEW, Impact, NWA, WWE. They're
Oh, here's the
struggling.
story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, he stole money from needy families, bought a boat with it.
Hmm.
Really?
So
Yeah.
let's see, some
That's
type
low.
of federal, basically at Mississippi Human Services, 77 million federal money from temporary assistance for needy family. So basically, this money for the needy families. There's using money, but I guess he had he had a couple ventures, LLCs, DiBiase, and the money went to that, but he spent it personally, basically.
Wow.
He got this big boat, and Prince is right on the story. Wow, would you Sean, you came up with it? Broke the story, or
Yeah, Sean
You know
broke
what?
it. JD,
we got to add
whoever
Sean to the call?
Yeah, I
talk
was
about
gonna
it.
say, man, we got to add him to the call. I think I have
And all
him
the
on
wrestling
set.
people.
Phone it to call.
Yeah, absolutely.
While we're doing that, going back to Shawn Michaels and his super kick,
Yeah.
do you guys kind of think Drew McIntyre's Claymore is similar, or just slightly different, or what?
It is the same move, just that he runs up and does no, his move is similar to Sheamus' move, the bro kick.
Yes. Because it's
the
more
same
of a
move,
you
just
got
that
to
he
run.
jumps with it. His is more of like a running
Yeah,
jump,
running
kind of like
kick.
Sheamus.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to go back a ways, and I don't even know if this move is considered legal in WWE anymore.
If you don't mind, Montoya, what did you think of Hogan's leg drop? Classic.
Oh,
leg
that was on my list of stupid finishers.
Oh, you don't like
Oh.
that one? It's a classic,
His
though.
leg drop of doom. Well, it might be classic, but come on.
You know,
How is
I
that
know.
even close to real? You know?
He just had some of those.
I mean, it's kind of like he hits the rope a couple of times, comes over and drops his legs across the guy's chest.
It is.
What?
It's like it's all about the iconic. It's iconic.
Yeah.
You know.
It's almost to me as stupid as Finn Balor's coup de grace thing, where he jumps on the guy's stomach or whatever.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it
funny.
doesn't really do any, it doesn't really do anything. It's just and you know it's just not in his chest. Obviously,
What
you know
was
how
it? What
curved.
what it, Prince? What is it called? A coon gras?
The
Coup
coup
de grace.
bra, yeah.
Oh,
Where it's
okay.
like it comes to the top rope onto your chest.
Prince, you still are you able to get Sean Seal on the call here? Because I'm unable to at the moment
We got to
here.
get him on.
Yeah,
We got to start
absolutely.
doing
No,
something.
I would
We got
go
to start
get.
doing.
I got to give him a shout out.
Only person
That's what he says. His
popping
res.
up is
He what tells ask Cronin why is his channel declining. He needs to have a damn crew on his channel like us.
Yeah, I tried calling him twice and he's unavailable, unfortunately. There.
Well, quick. This is a wrestling show, and then Ark, you can, go ahead. But real quick, did anyone watch AEW last night? Prince.
No, I don't. I haven't there. No.
Prince, did you watch AEW last night?
Yes, I did.
All right.
How
so
was it?
on
So-
the last, it was all right. But the last, I'll be watching the hockey more, and a little bit of basketball playoffs. Been catching up on the NBA, but the last part of the show, Dana Bryan did a promo on the mic, and he basically what he was trying to say was he was talking to some guys in the ring. He's like, you should train in my faction. What he was trying to say, but he said the other person's faction. He said you should train in Bullet Club, and you could tell he messed up because the crowd was like, oh.
I'm back.
And then
Yep.
he's like, no, I mean, he's like,
Oops.
he kind of saved it. He meant no, or whatever. He did save it slightly, but I didn't hear anyone mention that. Did you hear that, Prince?
Yes, I did. I watched the entire show. The best match of the night was Jade Cargill and Taya Valkyrie for the women's AEW championship, and it was good. It was a good show.
Prince does
They-
kind of
they
look
not
like
gonna-
Jay Cargill. Jay Cargill does look like Prince.
Yeah.
Same body, same muscles,
Does anybody
Yo,
still
what
watch
do
the
you think
current
the,
NWA? By the way.
The pickle.
No,
thing.
Minnesota Vikings fan
Shit,
watches
man,
all
that's
that.
funny stuff.
Yeah.
You get him on the call.
Everything else doing that
Vikings.
pickle skit is funny though.
We
I
can do
love it.
that.
Minnesota penalty
wanna-
fan.
Anybody want a pickle?
Yeah.
Oh, Picos.
Minnesota Wild fan. Minnesota penalty fan.
Yeah, but he's not going to be on call because Prince is on the call with us.
He
We
is
know
racist. Vikings is racist against African Americans, so that's why he won't be on the call.
Obviously, there.
But I mean, we can choose to not be on calls, and we can just not have any content to watch. I mean, that's what people want: no content to watch. So then don't join calls.
Right there. Exactly.
But real quick, Ark.
Oh, my God, they made a new belt, by the way.
Let's dive into
WWE
that. Like,
has a new belt. What you think
Yeah.
about that, Mr.
Who?
Arknolia? WWE has a new belt.
yeah, that is nice.
Yes,
Did
I
y'all
like.
see that
Yes, I
belt?
do like that because the other one, the other world title, is just was too cheesy.
They
but-
upgraded the title, the classic world title. They upgraded it.
Which is a
I mean,
good
but
thing.
I haven't heard anyone say this, and someone remind me to post this on my channel. But they're obviously making. I didn't even hear. I mean, I don't want to say anyone. I just listen to like Joe for wrestling stuff, and I enjoy it and stuff. But Joe and his crew's opinions on wrestling. But I haven't heard them say or anyone mention that belt is going to be given, and it was made just for Cody Rhodes. Because remember the rumor, he was not only that everyone wanted him to win a WrestleMania, but he was saying before that his favorite belt or the belt that he wanted was that the Eagle belt,
Yes,
Eagle
belt.
special
That-
Eagle belt. Yes.
and this new belt kind of is similar to like that classic type look.
Yeah,
It has the
nice.
gold, it has the designs in there. So to me, it's like, all right, Cody's gonna get that,
Yeah.
but we'll see. But
Yeah. Who
Art,
knows
go
there?
ahead with the list.
Okay. You guys, some of you, well, a lot of you probably remember this whole, but you never see it anymore. The sleeper.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about that. Roddy Piper had that going on for a good number of years there.
And Ted DiBiase had it.
That was a
And he
big
would-
one in the 70s.
Yeah, it was. And what it does is it put its opponent to sleep, but they have to wake him up soon right afterwards.
Which reminds me of a match I saw in the late 60s. There's a wrestler by the name of Joe Scarpa, who later became Chief Joel Youngblood. He was wrestling a guy by the name of Mike Padusis, who was a former pro football player. And they had a 2 out of 3 fall match. And Scarpa put him in the sleeper in the first fall, and he went to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and he got the 1, 2, 3 and all that.
Wow.
And the referee tells him, wake him up. And the guy says, no, not going to do it.
Wow.
Let him lay there for a while. And the referee's kind of like, okay, fall 2. He goes over, lays on top of him, 1, 2, 3, wins the second fall.
Oh,
And so
gee.
at that point, he does wake the guy up.
Oh, gosh.
And the guy gets up and goes, okay, I'm ready for fall 2. And the ref says, nope, it's over. You lost in 2 falls.
Dude.
I wouldn't even around for the second one.
Oh my
Oh,
God! Oh man!
I mean, that was the funniest thing I think I ever saw.
That's a sneaky ass thing to do. That's had to be a sneaky thing. Oh man!
Well, that move I think
Dude.
was eventually they banned it and stopped it because
Brain
Yeah,
damage.
well,
Brain
back
damage,
in
yeah.
school, back in school, and when you're a youth, probably Prince can relate
tried
to
it.
this. Yes, people did the trick where you could like get high off of passing out,
Oh, wow.
and obviously Keith was a big component on that back in the day. But Prince, did you ever do that? Do the whole choke out so you can get high thing?
Yeah.
See?
I've done that before with a bong and some weed and some
Yeah.
other weird substance I used to use. I ain't gonna say what I use, but you know what I mean. Who hasn't done stupid stuff,
Dr.
Well,
Brown, what about you? You went to that club where they whip people. Is there like a choking? Do you choke? You like to be choked, Brown?
No. There's none of that going on there.
Just would you do the whipping thing?
Well, there's a few people I like to whip literally, but they're back in Michigan. Bunch of backstabbers there who
There's
deserve to
people
be
in this-
whooped. But
people in
that's
this
another
community.
time. Well,
How-
Pick up our pee and
Florida, by the way.
pretty damn good there. That's like
I know they are.
what do you think about the weather compared to Texas, though? You like it
wea-
better in Florida?
they're both equally as good.
Less
both
rain,
equal.
though, huh?
Yeah, those. Not well. There was a rainfall, I believe, last week there.
Like more sunny days than in Houston, for sure, right? Definitely
well,
more sunny.
it wasn't all that sunny today. That's for sure. There. It was mostly cloudy.
And then
but-
when don't the toilets flow, they go they go
gosh.
to the left. The toilet flow is the different in Florida.
No, that's not
What?
when you go on the other side of the equator.
Right?
Yes.
Would you agree?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know. I don't know. I don't pay attention to how all I know is just flush the damn thing out of the toilet and pray that the damn thing don't clog up.
Wait, Dr. Brown, do you close the lid and then flush the toilet, or do you flush the toilet before you close the lid? Or do you close the lid in there?
Oh my gosh!
You said you don't know. You don't know.
Dude. I thought the question should
watch
be
it
like,
go
what's the
down.
proper way to put on the toilet paper on the roller there? That's even bigger debate than what I just mentioned there.
Dr. Brown does take huge gothic shits.
Dude.
No, but back to the. What was?
I'm on the over.
Think about the.
Let's bring up some tag team finisher moves, like the Dudley Boys,
Oh yeah,
3D.
3D there. The
very
what's up?
iconic.
The Frankensteiner,
Mm.
the Steiner brothers, Frankensteiner.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
The Hardys.
Well, didn't they have an angle where they hurt Jeff Bagwell at one time with that move?
Mm. Jeff Bagwell. I'm not too sure the name of the
Jeff
movie.
Bagwell.
WCW.
Oh, you're talking about Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. But what's his name is Jeff Bagwell, but they called him Buff Bagwell.
I remember.
Anyway,
Mhm.
he pretended he was crippled for weeks, and then one day he got up and excuse me,
Go
and
ahead.
beat the crap out of
Buff is-
somebody.
Buff
Rick Steiner.
is the stuff.
Rick Steiner. That was what
Yeah.
it. And what he even showed that on that scar on his lower neck area. His neck had to be fused together, believe it or not, which is probably one of the big reasons why the people are saying don't try this backyard wrestling because of the risk of injury.
Right.
But there was a lot of that going on.
Buff Bagwell moved. Yeah, I did. Phew, excuse me.
Good height, man.
Buff Bagwell moved on to a more promising career where he was basically a gigolo.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, I heard about that as well. There, it's like, geez, man, what the heck? Needed some
It was just
tissue.
several. No, I got some,
That's
and
good
you couldn't give it to me anyway. Uh,
If I could throw
he
it
was
right
just-
route, if I could throw it at the right angle.
The hold of Bill Clinton or
he was in several of the Andy Sidaris movies too. If you ever heard of that guy?
Uh-huh.
He was famous for a lot of booby movies, you might say.
Oh, really?
Starred former playmates.
I see there. Kind of reminds me of Val Venus.
Yeah.
Remember that guy? He looked.
oh yeah, guy always said hello, ladies.
Yes, yeah. He was booked as an adult film star because, according to Vince Russo, this guy looks like a porn star. That was basically what he looked like at that time there. So that's where that gimmick came from.
Okay, I got another old move that was never done anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Invented by Fritz von Erich, the Iron Claw.
Oh my goodness!
Remember that one?
Yes, I remember. It's kind of like
All the von Erichs did that one.
Oh, so where you stick your hand down the throat of your opponent there, I guess?
No. That was the one where they put it on both temples of your forehead, cross your eyes, and then squeezed. You've never seen the Iron Claw?
Well, no, I've heard of the Iron Claw, but it kind of reminds
They feel like the mandible claw, right?
I
like
see.
Sacco. Right?
Well, yeah, but the mandible claw's in the throat.
Yeah.
This was on the forehead.
Yeah, I see.
And he also
there.
did various. If he couldn't get to the head, he'd do the stomach claw and put it on the stomach.
Oh,
Foley
wow.
did that. Mick Foley did that with the sock. With the sock he had, Mr. Sacco.
Yep.
He did that.
Yeah.
Yep. Here is a move. How about this move?
Baron von Raschke also did the claw.
Oh man, I remember
You
him.
guys don't know who he is.
Yes, I know who he is.
And
yes.
how about the spoiler? Remember him?
Yes, I have. Definitely. I remember the name well there.
Big ass guy that he would walk the top rope like Undertaker started doing too. He did it first.
Wow, nice.
And he used the Iron Claw too. Him and Fritz would have little battles over that. Don Jardine. Let me say, that guy was great. Managed by Gary Hart.
Yeah.
Here's another tag team you guys didn't mention: Bam Bam Bigelow and Vader.
Oh,
what
yeah.
was Bam Bam Bigelow's signature move?
He had more like a moonsault. Bam Bam and Vader had like a moonsault, like the Vader salt and the Bam Bam salt.
Wow.
And they were popular.
Popular
in Japan.
Yeah, as big as those guys were. Holy cow.
Yeah. And credit to Bam Bam.
Course,
he was one of the first guys to sport that all tattooed head that now people are doing.
Yeah.
And Eddie Guerrero used to do the frog splash.
Which is now done by Rob Van Dam, 5-star splash.
Yeah.
I see.
Tadpole splash with Hornswoggle.
Right?
Yes.
And what the heck was that?
That was like
WCW.
It was like the mid-ladder 2000s Hornswoggle, and like WWE got like kind of goofy too. Like they mixed in the goofiness as well. You know, Santino Marella, like that whole stuff. It's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like looking back, like if they did that now, like they don't really do as much silly kind of goofy stuff now. Like every now and then, I mean, they did it with, and obviously the New Day, you know, a little goofy there and stuff, but like they really did that in, you know, later 2000s pretty bad, because like early 2000s and obviously later 90s, like it was not really goofy. It was more like, you know, raunchy, you know? It was...
Shit, yeah. One thing I remember... Go ahead.
I was going to say, you had a movie you were going to tell us.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Glenn?
Earl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Oh,
was gonna,
sorry.
yes, yeah, I was gonna say,
Glenn
man, what
Earl.
the? Oh jeez.
Glenn Earl. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It sounds like a new name there for a wrestler. Glenn Earl is now coming down the ring at about 179 pounds. And I want to talk about this one to finish your move. There was a couple. There was one. I want to talk about the table, the Dudley Boys, and what they did. Of course, we know their signature move. I guess it was called the 3D, where they applied their opponent, one of the tag team opponents, through a table there. And that was one of the popular moves in when you're involved in WCW and later in the WWE. In fact,
Yeah.
there was this one moment.
Big in ECW.
He said that exactly there. In fact, they made a return. I was remember watching a clip of them make a return to Monday Night Raw, and the place erupted with applause. And towards the end, they were taking on the New Day. And then towards the end, here's Bubba Ray saying, Devon! And they count to 3. Get the table! That was one of their popular things during that time there. Now, I also got to bring this up. I advise everybody to definitely check this out on YouTube. Chairs thrown into the ring. They did that at an ECW an event at one point there. It had Terry Funk and a Cactus Jack. The Dudley Boys made a return. Actually, a guest appearance at Impact Wrestling, and people throwing chairs and that ring just as well there. The most amount of chairs was at the I guess it's called the GZW event, if I'm correct there. And I don't know the wrestlers that were in the ring, but the crew had to go through a whole lot of hell just to get all those chairs out of there. Because man, oh man, oh man.
I got one more finisher that I really liked for some reason. I don't know why.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt's Sister Abigail.
Oh my
I really
gosh.
liked that one.
Yeah, that was a good one because
And even Alexa Bliss started pulling it off.
yeah. Do you think those two should work together again?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good chemistry.
It was. Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like that character Alexa Bliss became with this schoolyard thing and the doll and all that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting.
It was more than interesting. I liked it as well.
It could have gone on to some better things. It could have gone on to bigger things, but for some reason they were afraid to pull the trigger.
But that was how that's how WWE creative is nowadays. When they get something good, they have to mush it up and make it crappy. Like, let me give you this little thing here that shows you how much less brains a WWE creative team is. A couple years back, when Mandy Rose, before she moved to NXT, her and Sonya Deville, where they were a tag team, they were a Fire and Desire. Rose came up with a lesbian romantic storyline between her and Sonya Deville, who, as you know, is a full-blown lesbian. She one time dated Seth Rollins' ex-girlfriend, Sarah Schreiber, I guess her name was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She pitched that idea to the WWE. Now, we never saw that come about. But on that episode of Raw, during the supposed wedding between Lana and Bobby Lashley, Liv Morgan comes out there, and she says, "My love is I can't allow this to happen. This person I love so much." They thought it was Bobby Lashley, but it turns out to be Lana. And Sonya was like, "Yep, what the heck?" It's like they were not going to allow Rose and Deville with that idea, but they'll give it to Lana and Liv Morgan.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Very weird there. It's like, a lot of times, let's not forget, they almost had, for a while, buried Bray Wyatt for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
stupid
So
mistake.
out of all the wrestlers, who was y'all's favorite? I would say Shawn Michaels is mine. Earl?
Piper, Rowdy Roddy Piper. He was the one that
Yeah.
he was the basic reason why I got watching wrestling in the first place. Even though Piper's bid at that time was in the middle of the program, it was Superstars of Wrestling by the World Wrestling Federation, and this is back when they were using other artists' music as their opening music. There, Hulk Hogan had Eye the Tiger. Um, Junkyard Dog had another one, Bites the Dust. That was his opening music there. And they would use Thriller by Michael Jackson as the opening theme song to this as the show's intro there. But it was something about Piper, his big mouth, his obnoxiousness that was intriguing as hell. And that's what led me to getting into the other wrestlers on the roster like Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, Tito Santana, Brutus Beefcake before he became the Barber. And of course, Hulk Hogan.
We could spend some time talking about old time wrestlers too. That would be fun.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that just as well. I'm glad you brought that up, man.
Yes, because I love Ric Flair. Ric Flair was my guy.
Magnum
And
TA.
he was the inspiration to Shawn Michaels. He was the inspiration to Shawn. So
Absolutely. And to Triple H.
yes, he was. Yes, he was. Ric Flair was the man.
Absolutely, yes. He's still the man today. Like he often trends on Twitter a lot of times there.
He got his own weed called Flair Drip.
I guess he has a brand of shoes as well, I guess.
He does. He has a lot of merch.
Good.
He's always hanging out with Mike Tyson.
What was that China's signature move?
I think it meant
it was a slam. She did like a power.
Was it almost like the Razor's Edge or something?
More like the Beth Phoenix move. Her and Beth Phoenix had the same move.
Wow.
Where she lifts you up like Jade Cargill. She lifts you up and she slams you.
I see there. What about the torture rack that Lex Luger had there?
Oh, that move is dangerous.
Yeah, because I guess it bends
what about
your...
Nikki Nines.
The bonsai. Yokozuna had the bonsai.
Nikki Nines made that move famous in the later years.
What did you guys think of wrestler Rakishi's move? The stink face.
Oh, gosh, dude.
That would probably fall under...
comical.
I can't believe they allowed that wrestling. I can't believe they allowed that to happen.
But then again, the WWF at that time was about allowing every kind of craziness they can,
That proves that Mr. McMahon was a sick fuck, man. That proves that Vince McMahon was sick.
Well, that and this Kiss My Ass Club,
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Mr. McMahon was a sick... He's sick. He is sick in the head, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something wrong with that guy.
Yeah.
Remember the angle he did?
I got a couple of finishes.
He was the father of his own daughter's child. Remember that angle he did?
Yes, with Stephanie.
Mr. McMahon, I'm telling you, that man is not right in the head.
Which is like people saying he needs to get out of the WWE now, because people are saying that when he came back, it's like, oh God, the WWE is doomed once again there. I mean, a lot of people were saying, it's a great thing. Triple H is now going to do creative and such there. And then
what's wrong with Shane doing creative? It's owed to him. I don't know why they can't pass it on to Shane McMahon.
Because Shane was let go by the company by his own dad because of some backstage conduct, which pissed Vince off there. I guess it was during one of the pay-per-views afterwards there. May have been the Survivor Series, from what I understand there. And Stephanie McMahon, she is the part of the company.
Yeah.
Why is it that the big guys, the top wrestlers, have stupid finishers? We talked about Hogan. What about Roman Reigns and his Superman punch? Come on. I mean,
the worst of it, I agree. That is like super kicks is one thing, but a one punch thing, especially when he's beating like Brock Lesnar and Undertaker with that move, is disgusting.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Now the spear was okay.
That's different.
I mean,
wow,
I can see where that moved.
Yes, Goldberg and.
But when he would hit people with that Superman punch, I'm sitting there going, "What?" It's almost as bad as Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado, whatever you want to call him,
Yep.
and his discus
I'm so
punch.
happy to be
We
here,
just
and it is my honor to bring to the stage right now Chiefs legends Dante Hall and
Oh shit, Dante Hall and Dr. Earl Brown's coming to this.
Oh gosh. Speaking of spear, we got to acknowledge both Goldberg, Edge, and NWA's
Edge.
Camille.
And
Can-
Rhino.
Yes.
Yes. Camille Brickhouse. You
Oh,
ever
yeah.
saw her, Prince?
Yes, I have. Yes, I
Yeah,
have.
yeah. That girl
She's
is
like-
built.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember Rhino. Rhino was cool. I liked
Yeah.
him.
I love Rhino. The Gore. That guy, man. That guy was huge. Hugely built, too.
Yeah.
And he still is. He still
Yeah,
is.
that's why they called him Rhino, I guess.
Yep. Oh, here's a move that we haven't seen in a long, long time. The camel clutch. The Iron Sheik that was his finishing move.
Yeah, and Rusev had a variation on that. I forget what it was called.
Roman Reigns is
Where he
kind of
bent
like
the guy
Rhino.
back.
If you really think about it, Roman Reigns is like Rhino. He's built like him. The long hair
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
spear. Roman Reigns kind of reminds me of Rhino.
Yeah. And speaking of another big guy that had a stupid finisher, John Cena, that you can't see me bit where he did that
Finger.
four-knuckle.
Four
whatever.
fingers in
Five
his face,
shuffle.
in the opponent's face there.
What about The
He
Rock?
was like,
What
come
about
on,
Rock?
John.
Rock bottom.
The rock bottom for the rock. Well,
Yeah.
that was a good move there because you're landing on your back
Yeah.
there. And
What
but-
about the people's
And
elbow?
then,
The people's elbow.
Dr.
That
Brown,
was
if you were
Mhm.
Dr. Brown and Prince, because Ark, I don't think you ever aspired to be a professional wrestler. But Brown, I remember
Hey,
you talking
now.
about you. I mean, it's all three of y'all then, since y'all all aspired to be professional wrestlers.
well, I
one
wasn't
time
built for it, but
Neither am I. I'm not that built either.
At a time, Brown, you did want to be in the indie scene in Detroit, though. And
It's not easy.
What?
basically, you were Sting before Sting was Sting. Crow Sting,
Oh
Dr.
my
Brown. With the
gosh.
trench coat, and for real.
Oh my
But
gosh! I just
let's-
didn't have the crow makeup there. And by the way, that had to me. Go
real
ahead.
quick, Brown. What if you were a wrestler? What would you pick your signature move to be?
Probably be
honestly.
the probably. You know what? Mine would have to be like the
Lion
stunner.
Lion salt.
I would want to be a top rope finishing guy. So I would get on the top, and whether it's the elbow, I don't know yet. From the elbow, I mean, or like a on top of the rope type of leg drop. You know what I'm saying? But Ark, what would your signature move be?
wow. I hadn't really thought about that. I would probably either attempt the sleeper or the iron claw. Because I grew up with those.
Mm-hmm.
Those are big finishers in my period of time.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is since you mentioned the crow sting, that had to me one of the most interesting gimmicks WCW had next to the NWO
Yes.
Wolfpack.
Yes.
Because here's the surfer sting growing out some of his hair. Somebody impersonates him. All of a sudden he gets kind of like banished from WCW because they thought it was the actual Sting. And then all of a sudden Sting comes back as this anti-hero protagonist, going against the NWO and everything else. Silent, carrying that baseball bat, And by the way, the late Scott Hall was
Hanging
the
out
one
in the
who...
rafters.
Yep, exactly. Doing that a little thing where he goes shoots out from the ceiling. Which, by the way, Sting had to stop for a long while after what happened with Owen Hart back in '99 there.
Really?
Yes, it did. And we know what happened with Owen Hart.
Well, that was somebody screwed up a safety issue on that one.
It
Well,
was,
look,
yeah.
I'm in when I go to these hockey games, some of the seats. I mean, sometimes I'll get the lower levels, middle levels, but sometimes I like getting the rafter seats, the nosebleeds.
Mhm.
Well, number one, because they're really cheap,
but you get to see the whole rink. You know what I mean? Because the closer
Hey,
you
why
go,
a
yes.
hot dog? A hot dog when you go there? You eating a hot dog?
No, I don't buy. That's one rule, huge rule I have. I don't buy anything at the arena because
Oh,
it's way
really?
overpriced. Whether it's beer, anything,
That's
nothing.
true. That's true
No.
there.
And
Oh,
plus the
pretzel?
bathroom lines get really long. So if you drink beer or
Yes.
anything, like you're gonna have to wait in a long. I mean, I'm talking
You're
really
gonna
long.
miss a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
I
know
yeah,
with the
everything.
baseball games.
It's not. You can get a $3 beer, tall can at the gas station, and like a beer at the game is like $12 for a tall can.
Wow. Holy shit,
$12,
dude.
$10 for a hot dog.
$10 for a
It's too
fucking
much.
hot. Are you
I mean,
serious, man?
they're bigger. They're bigger. They're the jumbo franks, but
What?
still,
Right.
That's
But
too
still,
much, man.
yeah.
Way too much.
I mean,
One of the
people
things I
buy
used to
them.
like to get, yeah, one of the things I used to get at the ballpark when I went to the baseball games, it's been 15 years, been 20 years. Anyway, I used to get the nachos because I love nachos, good nachos.
Oh man, I remember just getting me a cola and that's about it there from I remember. And YR is right about the bathrooms being way too long, especially the men's room there during shows at the Joe
Oh, yeah.
Arena. Had to wait, had to wait, had to wait, had to wait. You know, and people had to resort to peeing in the sink, believe it or not.
So when you wash your hands, well,
Yeah, that's one thing that came to my mind. Back then they didn't have to wash your hands. They didn't even care to. They just would get back to their seats.
Dr. Brown, do you wash your hands after you pee? Or no?
Absolutely.
No, come on.
I have to when I'm at work there. It's a requirement.
A lot of people on the East Coast don't wash their hands after they pee. It's like a thing.
Yeah, but nowadays, thanks to the COVID-19, they have to now because it's a
Yes.
work requirement.
I wash my hands. What about you? Why you wash your hands?
Absolutely not.
You use hand
You gotta
sanitizer?
build. You gotta build up the. Well, my wiener's clean, but you gotta build up the. The resistance. You gotta build up that resistance, the anti-germs, antibodies. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't flush toilets in
yeah,
public.
they have to have
I don't
something to
flush.
practice.
I don't flush public toilets, Brown.
Oh.
Sometimes if like there's people in the next stall or something or whatever, or like I may like flush with my shoe, my foot, but I don't flush public toilets at all.
I
You know what I'm
see what
saying?
you're talking about, especially in the gas stations.
Yeah.
Do you take shits at public toilets or no?
Only when I really, really needed to, and I can't hold it in no more.
You just gotta shit in your hand and like throw it out the window or
Oh
something.
my
Yeah.
gosh, dude. Are you kidding me?
Poo to go. You know what I mean?
Hey, to that driver who flipped me out for no reason. Whoosh.
That'd be a good signature move. You
Kinda-
take a dump in your hand.
Oh my god.
Wait. You said
Kinda like
take a
monkeys at the
shit up,
zoo.
throw it out the window.
Well, do you remember? Do you remember? Obviously, like the one guy spitting out the green poison in people's face. But do
The
you
great
remember?
Muda.
Do you remember?
You just went to the Hall of Fame recently.
Yes, Great Mouton. Do you remember when Booker T was in WCW and he was in the tag team Harlem Heat and Stevie Ray was his partner.
Yep.
But Stevie Ray used to
Yeah.
use this. He used to use this like thing to slap people with. It was like
Slapjack.
a slapjack. What is that? It's like a piece of leather or something. You would say, Brown, or
I only know it was like a slapjack, and that was about it.
we can look that up because that was a weapon used as a signature move type thing. It was a signature.
Wow.
You know, obviously like Triple H with his sledgehammer. You know what I'm saying?
A prop.
Sting with his bat.
Those are called
Sting-
props.
Yes.
Paul E. Dangerously, a.k.a. Paul Heyman, his prop was a cell phone at that time there.
Yep. Hacksaw Jim Duggan had a piece of 2x4 with.
Yep, that was his prop there
Oh, yeah,
as well.
and Hacksaw Butch Reed did the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Miss...
Hacksaw
Were you
Butch
big into
Reed
that?
did the
Were you
same
big in?
thing.
Were you big into like the blood and all that ECW stuff, Dr. Brown, or no?
But if you guys want to, we could go into that because we definitely got to take a look at that because the hardcore wrestling as well as the backyard wrestling, we need to touch upon that and find out that that still continues to this day. Because I remember that made a lot of headlines throughout the Attitude Era and early 2000s.
You know, Earl, you know that they don't do anymore? They don't do a lot of chain wrestling no more.
Chain wrestling? You're right.
Yeah, a lot of,
Where do you,
what do you mean by chain wrestling? They do like a lot of like grapple, and when they start the match, they don't grapple no more.
exactly. And the chain wrestling we're talking about is where they have it's like a chain match.
They were kind of doing. They were kind of doing it last night with the Jeff Jarrett match. Did you watch the Jeff Jarrett match, Prince?
I did, but they
started
really
off. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but like for the people listening, like what y'all talking about, it's like they take each other's hands and they like, they're working the body. They're holding on to each other. They're not like flipping or jumping or. It's a more traditional style. The pick is in for the Panthers, for the draft. Carolina Panthers select.
Let's not forget the dog
Bryce
collar
Young.
matches.
Wow.
They stopped doing that because a lot of wrestlers have died just after doing it. So that's why they don't do it anymore.
Bunkhouse matches, I know what you're talking about. It's where wrestlers can wherever they want, bring whatever they want, take a few wrestlers with some bad blood between them and let them go at one another there. I guess one wrestler did a promo that which he described his one time there. He ended up with a broken arm. And
You guys probably don't remember. There was a wrestler that I really liked to watch by the name of Brute Bernard.
I don't think I've heard of him.
If you don't mind, sorry to cut you off, Arknolia. Another thing I want to give you guys to talk about, Lucha Libre wrestling. Lucha Libre, because there's a lot of Mexican wrestling.
Speaking of which,
they did a lot of that in WCW.
Yeah, absolutely. The Psychosis, Rey Mysterio Jr., he was known as, Juventud Guerrera. Yep. And one of the things I wanted to discuss is, you remember what Hannibal as the Blood Hunter did back in 2022 there to that one referee when he wrestled Carlito in Texas that whole weekend?
Yeah.
He was, that made a lot of news all over the headlines. Gatekeeper Drew covered on it. A lot of people were talking about it. I even made a video about it saying don't expect any wrestling promotion to contact him anytime soon. There were a lot of reports that Hannibal, as the Blood Hunter, was intoxicated. And he just, I don't know if he was trying to live up to the Blood Hunter gimmick, but that poor referee, he had to have stitch in his head.
My wrestling thoughts are going. Another group, matter of fact, not group, great factions, like the Four Horsemen.
Oh, yeah.
Prince, you should.
Yes.
Prince should be on every show we do. Prince adds so much to this show. Prince should be on every show with us every
Tell you
week.
what, Prince, if you're available next week.
Guys, I'm a former co-host of Sean's View. I talk wrestling. This is what I do.
Not only wrestling, but Prince is really good with music too.
Yeah.
Not rap. I'm talking rock stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Never judge a book by its cover.
All right, there.
Never.
So definitely,
You can join us on the movies too when we talk about movies.
Yes, we got to do that again sometime, though. We got a lot of stuff coming up, and Prince, definitely for Shizzle, we got to get you participating in all of them.
Prince used to have. Did you ever use VHS tapes, like watch movies or cartoon and stuff?
Yes,
I did.
Yes,
I did as well.
The Tilda, the movie on a VH tape.
Oh, the chocolate cake. Remember the? Remember, that's the part I never forget.
That movie was funny though.
Danny DeVito.
All
right.
That principal will be like, "Who's in my house?"
Have you seen that movie, Brown?
Matilda?
Yes.
No, I never saw it, but there's another. But I remember watching this one movie called Pan's Labyrinth, which you definitely got to discuss sometime there with a very bittersweet ending. No doubt about that.
And then there's the Labyrinth itself with David Bowie.
Yep.
And Jennifer Connelly.
Yep. Yeah, I remember seeing that with my ex.
since he wants to do wrestling, I have one more I'm going to throw at you.
Mhm.
Best promos, like Ric Flair doing promos. We need to talk about who did the best promos.
Oh wow,
Oh yeah, there. I get it. I
Flair,
get.
Like
Piper,
me, like Brown could maybe do it, but like I know Mia Pritz,
Savage.
we could cut promos off the rip. Mia Pritz,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Like,
definitely. Oh, Savage. She
Man,
was a master at
riding,
that.
kiss stealing, wheeling
Oh,
dealing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love Ric Flair. I love him. I love him. Zip
Piper.
lining,
What?
limousine riding,
What
kiss
about?
stealing, wheeling.
I always liked it when he took off his coat, threw it down in the ring, and then did the elbow drop in his coat.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And one time he actually did that and suffered a heart attack right on the air.
Mm.
Yep.
So did Jerry Lawler during announcing that one time.
Yep.
I was watching that and it was like, ooh, holy, this isn't an angle. He's in trouble.
Yeah, I
see,
remember that. Yes.
I watched, um, like when it was happening live, like the
Yeah.
NWO stuff. Well, was when I first started watching wrestling, like the NWO stuff.
Oh, when Hall
Like the
and
black,
Nash walked in on.
yeah, like
Yep.
the original black and white NWO, and then later on, when they took it off TV, WCW, maybe 2000, 2001. No, not, it was way before 2001. That's when I got into the
Sean's view
WWE.
on the call, man. Sean's view can give us so much insight
Yes.
on all this.
Yeah, I want to get. I'm trying to get him on. This Prince, can you get him on the call with us? You have his number or anything?
No, I don't.
Oh man.
Unfortunately, I don't.
Oh. Oh, she's. See if you can get him call on possibly whichever outlet he can, whether it's Zoom or whichever there, because
Yeah.
I had trouble getting a hold of him on Skype here.
I think his Facebook fan page. If you message him, he'll respond. It's usually how I used to contact him through his Facebook fan page.
All right, there. I'll definitely hit him up, soon after this program is done here.
Well, let's talk about what we want to do next week. Wednesday, we'll continue the 90s and have another bar fest.
Mm-hmm.
And then
But metal will never.
Thursday,
Bands like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, bands like Zeppelin, and like man, like I don't know why people say, "Oh, metal is dead," but it's not dead. It's not dead. It will never die. It will never
no.
die.
Nope.
I remember Earl saying some lady was making fun of him, and on his last show,
That was
he was
yesterday.
saying about
Us.
the spandex. I've been in that situation too, man.
Mm.
Pissed me off too.
I know, man. So you see where we're coming from, why we're talking about why we have me and Ark have just so much disgruntlement towards the 1990s there. Everything had to just switched over to the other side, and I was not happy about it at all.
I want to go
We
see
went
a
through the 1990 Top 100, and there were maybe 8 songs in that whole 100 that were decent. The
Yeah.
rest of them were like, what?
Crap.
What?
The thing that pissed me off is that it was that one song by that group Chubba Wubba. That's I get knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big hit. All the moms and all the mainstream people loved that song. Yeah, yeah. But little did
I
they
have a
know that that group were anarchists.
I have a good question, a
Weebles
great
wobble, but
topic
they can't.
for Earl.
Yeah.
If you
yeah.
don't mind me sharing with Earl, I have a great topic, and this has never been asked by anybody who knows Earl. This one's especially coming from the bottom of my heart for Arknolia and Earl.
Mhm.
When it comes to blues, who is your top guy? Bob Dylan or John Lennon?
For blues?
Yeah,
Uh,
John Lennon
well,
was
basically, if you talk to two, it's an artist.
Eric Clapton.
No.
Yeah,
I'm saying with
well,
John Lennon
guitar.
and Bob Dylan. Who would be better?
In the blues? Well, John Lennon wasn't really a blues guy.
His songs came close.
Yeah, and plus, well, the only Beatles
Bob Dylan
songs.
was more folk.
Yeah, exactly. Other than you want to count that White Album track, Year Blues.
Yeah.
But if you want one
Okay.
British white blues boy, look up Eric Clapton.
Yeah,
Peter
Eric
Green.
Clapton.
Peter Green
He's
as well
also
there, yes. John Mayhall
yes.
or Jimmy
But
Page.
I would go with Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was a great rocker. He really was.
He was
I
more
love Bob
folk.
Dylan.
He
Yeah.
was, yeah, but even though he wasn't that rock, he was mostly folk.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
He
the
was.
early stuff, but once he hit like a Rolling Stone in that era,
Hmm.
he kind of became a rocker.
Yes.
He did. He
Yep.
did.
But in a
What do
more
you guys
folk
think of?
sense.
What do you guys think of Little Richard, who kind of was the innovator of rock and roll? They don't
He
Yeah.
give
was.
him
He
credit.
certainly
No, he never,
was. He was. Absolutely.
they need to give him more credit for what he's done. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't even know what rock and roll was.
Well, he was. We know that Paul
Pretty much.
McCartney.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like we all know that Paul
What do you
McCartney,
mean? What do you mean, like the sound of rock, or like the entertainer
the sound,
Like
part of rock?
Well, it's a
sound, and
combination of
both.
uh,
Ah,
larger than life on stage. That was all Little Richard.
Hmm.
He started it. The whole makeup and eyeliner and being very provocative. Little Richard was doing that way before
The
Prince and
bop
Michael.
bop doo bop bop doo wop there.
before Elvis, the King.
Hmm.
Elvis basically covered a lot of Richard's songs, if you didn't know. He even had Jimi Hendrix as his guitar player. Richard.
Nice.
Brown or Arknolia, have y'all ever seen Elvis the King?
Never, never, never.
no. I would have
No.
loved to, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't he used to tour like
You
and
should
stuff?
see it with Austin
Vegas?
Butler.
He did the Vegas residency, that's for sure, there in the 70s.
His movie was great. I saw it with Austin Butler. That movie was so good. So good. Austin Butler did a good job.
Hmm.
He really did.
Hmm.
Elvis did 30 of his own movies,
Yep.
which was bizarre.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, he did. Now I want to dive into something that YR and I love. What you think of Queen, the rock band Queen?
Oh, they're ahead of their time, no doubt about that. You remember we talked about symphonic metal a couple times with bands like Nightwish, Epica, and Within Temptation. Queen, to me, can qualify as one of the first symphonic metal bands with some of the stuff they did, like the Prophet song, Bohemian Rhapsody, on Lazy Sunday Afternoon, stuff like Jealousy, Bicycle Race. I mean, Freddie
I think
Mercury was the man.
he was. And I think the out of the three rockers I like from that time, I would say I love Freddie, I love Elton John, and I also love David Bowie. David Bowie, oh man, he was something else.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
he did. He did a lot of changing of styles to kind of do different stuff. I liked that.
Yeah, he was
I
known
love
that for a lot. Let's not fun. Let's not forget he had a rock band called Tin Machine that released about a couple of albums there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Hmm.
did.
Yep.
What did you think about the Ziggy Stardust character he did?
Oh, that's iconic as well. I mean, the red mullet that he had,
Hmm.
yeah, that was way more iconic.
Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
Yes. All right.
Man,
I'm gonna dive.
da-da-da.
Hmm.
We want to come back around. Let's go full circle once again.
Okay,
When it
definitely.
came to we was talking about greatest factions, Arknolia, the Four Horsemen, I love that group. I love that
Oh,
group.
absolutely. More modern. I mentioned it last week. I like the Wyatt family. They just screwed it up. They could have
Yes.
done so much with it.
Yes, it's really a shame that Luke Harper passed away from that group, man. Dang.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He
But
got
that
fired because
faction could have been.
he didn't want to do a country accent that Mr. McMahon told him to do.
Yeah, he asked for his release, in which he did, and he went to AEW for a while there as Brody Lee. But at the time, not everybody was, the WWE was not really a happy place to work at, under Vince McMahon's direction. They were doing so much screw ups here and left and right. I mean, like Cody Rhodes, the Stardust gimmick they had alongside his brother Goldust, he hated that gimmick, believe it or not, to the full max. So, which is good as to when they came back to WWE.
Stardust.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, which is good.
I
They
wonder
did
if he
let him
got
come
that
back as
Stardust
Cody
character
Rhodes.
from David Bowie. He
Hmm.
probably got that Stardust character from David Bowie.
Most likely, yes. But then again, his brother Dustin was a Gold Dust, and so I had to figure, hey, let's have the Dust Brothers come into the ring. All right. All right. So
Okay, what do we want to make our
next,
what do we want to make our Thursday? Just general wrestling or something specific?
well,
We
let's
should
not.
do the factions.
Okay,
Greatest faction.
Okay.
factions. Yes, we'll do factions next Thursday. There, definitely. And Prince, you're definitely invited the next Wednesday for the Music Maniac show there as we continue our onslaught of the 1990s there.
Yes, yes, because I've been listening. I've been listening.
All right there. All right there. So I guess this concludes our episode of our show today. I guess I understand there. So I guess that will call it a night for that time being there. I know I got some recording to do, that's for sure there. Possibly. Now, YR, are we doing, I'm thinking about possibly doing another drama show on my channel this weekend. You up for that, possibly? Prince is you as well?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Oh boy.
We
We got,
do need to update people on the current drama that's been going on this whole week.
all right.
And you're not down for right now, Brown?
Um,
Tonight?
tell
Or
me, want to do it tonight?
a little
You should,
hour or
why
something?
you
Yeah.
have me here? You have a drama guy here.
All right there.
Yes.
All right there. We can
But
definitely do
obviously,
that tonight.
I'll be making sure I can make you a thumbnail, Brown.
Okay.
I'll make you a thumbnail, Brown.
All
You
right
can
there.
all
Good, good.
refresh. So next week, probably, I've been on Arknolia. I've been at all the games. The Dallas Star playoff games. I've been in game 1, 2, and 5, all the home games for playoffs. So that's why
Wow.
I've been missing days. And then if it was, some days I need days to recoup, like the day after
Right.
because been up all night and yelling and stuff at the game. So it's been definitely taking a lot out of me. I feel like one of the hockey players
Yeah.
playing, but definitely worth it. And I'll have more time this week because Game 7 Sunday,
I
and
love hockey.
probably just gonna watch that on TV because it's really expensive. But um, I have about 40 rally towels from the games, the different games.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Cool.
if I want Prince to come up there one day, maybe in the next series, if they go on sale again, the tickets, because I don't be spending too much on the tickets really, but sometimes I will, $150, $100, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But playoffs is definitely worth a couple $100. I have to say that if you got it. This is not a sports show, but maybe one day you'll see me and Prince up there,
Nice.
the hockey game. But definitely next week, go back to the music show. Get some news in there.
Yep.
There'll be a lot of tours coming up. Metallica actually kicked theirs off in, I believe, Netherlands or something like that. Last night. So those
Nice.
videos are out there, and it's a back-to-back tour, so they'll be playing there again. I guess tonight or something, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that first part of the set, the stage is pretty cool. It's like a big round circle, and then there's like a general mission crowd inside the circle, like a pit. But then like outside the circle, it's just filled with people. And then like they got these different. You just look it up. It's all over YouTube. Metallica 2023, basically. Set list was good. They definitely put maybe 40% of their new stuff in there off that new album. Have y'all heard anything off that new album yet? The new Metallica album?
They have a couple of videos on Facebook that I've seen in the video
Well,
section right there.
go on Metallica YouTube page because they released pretty much all the songs already, and they really for every song they're doing music videos. So for every song on the album, they're going to have a music video for every song.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm not a big. I love Metallica. They're like one of my top three favorite bands.
Mm-hmm.
But the album, let me give you the positives real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The drum sound, whoever the engineering process and
Yep.
editing process, whatever. The sound of Lars's drums is very good, very very. I mean, it's
Nice.
very that good
Nice.
signature Metallica sound. But honestly, like all of the songs kind of sound the same to me. You know what I mean? But I guess that's just like AC/DC, all of their songs are going to sound kind of similar. That's just how it sounds. Like when you
Yep.
hear a Metallica song, you know it's Metallica. I guess that's a good thing, right? Because you can
Mm-hmm.
be a band from 30 years ago and put out something now, and it's not going to sound, but it's definitely sounding like 90s Metallica. Faster than 90s Metallica, but the same.
Mm-hmm.
Vocals is not too fast. But there's definitely some fast songs and stuff. Um, but yeah, like they kind of all sound the same to me, honestly. Like I just like out of their new albums, that Death Magnetic one is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really good, Death Magnetic. But even on this new tour, they play a song off Death Magnetic album. But a lot of the new songs, obviously, they play the couple songs off the Black album. So we'll see what the night two set list is. But Metallic album definitely is good. I have to give it that good cover, yellow, bright yellow.
Yep.
Um, so, Brown, I'd suggest when you have time, just look that up on YouTube. Try to get through every song,
Mm-hmm.
if you can. But
All right. Listen
you
in
know,
and enjoy.
yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, there. So, once
What
again,
so, what
go ahead.
what show is this drama show going to be called? Dr. Brown drama show?
I don't know. I'm thinking of a title right now. There, you might. I'm thinking of something here.
I'm going to make you a
Thumb,
custom.
thumbnail.
The best title is the Wing Eagle title, the one that Shawn Michaels had, the one that Bret Hart had.
Nah, bro. I like the WCW, the gold, the big gold one. That's the classic, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean, I
love,
know what you're saying. Like that's a classic, but like the one that you've seen NWO spray painted by Hogan over. That's what memorable to me through the years. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
that's
And
they upgraded it.
but
That's
see,
the best.
y'all were like a lot of Joe, a lot of Sean Drew's audience was raised on that WWF brand, and I was raised on that WCW brand. So like y'all are more familiar with that 1996, 97 era. When I was watching the NWO, y'all watching like Shawn Michaels, fucking Bret Hart, like all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely know, like, who the Undertaker was, who the Rock was,
Yeah.
like 1999.
I was in both.
1999, 2000. But like I was definitely the NWO Black. But I definitely remember watching
The
WWF,
only
like Stone
guy,
Cold, Steve
Mm-hmm.
Austin, and all
Yep.
that, like on TV live. So
well, for me, the only guy I liked in WCW was Chris Jericho.
no, they had it all, bro. The NWO was the shit, bro. The NWO was
NWO. NWO was the Sex Pistols of pro wrestling,
It sure
without a
was.
doubt. And Eric Bischoff was their Malcolm McLaren, without a doubt.
you gotta like, bro. You gotta think when you were like a kid, you're really thinking these guys. And I didn't know they were from WWF though. When this NWO things happen, when they're interrupting like the when they're going to like the who were the Bobby the Brain Heenan, like the
Yep.
commentators at the time, when they're like Eric Bischoff's coming out there, when they're interrupting stuff and all that, like that seems so real to a kid watching wrestling at that time. Like in WWE at that time, what were they doing? Like the more raunchier stuff, like they were really doing like the stuff with the women and all that in WCW per
Yeah.
se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they weren't really doing the women, female talent, anything like compared. Like you mentioned earlier, the Val Venus stuff, like all that.
Yep.
Like it was different, but WCW it was just different, but it was better because at a time like WCW was way bigger in the ratings. They were beating WWF in the ratings at a point.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like they had something to where dang people really. I mean, and I don't know if you're a teen or an adult at the time. Do you believe that did you believe the NWO stuff? Did you believe these guys weren't really supposed to be there and all that? Like I don't know. So
Either
it's
way,
different. Like,
it doesn't really matter. Either way, it was a damn good gimmick that came up at the right time because the 1990s in general was anti-establishment, and the NWO represented that to the full max. The old clean-cut Hulkamania kind of stuff was dead for years, so it was time Hulk Hogan shed that light and turn to the dark side and become, of course, Hollywood Hogan, of course, much to the dismay of all the little Hulkamaniacs. But then again, those Hulkamaniacs had grown up, they had become adults, and they was going through some hard times of their own. So many people related to the NWO, without a doubt. I mean, there were a lot of at some of the golf clubs I've seen. There were kids sporting NWO T-shirts, WWF Attitude Era T-shirts. It was all over the place there. One of the boys in the dance floor, we would dance all around. It's like WWE pay per view at my house. Who's coming? So wrestling was everywhere during that period of time. And also, let me conclude this program by saying this: Hulk Hogan gets massive credit for helping bringing wrestling into the mainstream world once again. He did it back in the 80s with the
yes.
hero Hulk Hogan, and he did it again a decade later as Hollywood Hogan, the heel. So a lot of ways Hogan helped a lot with the
All right, Brown, I gave you that. I sent you the custom
okay,
background.
okay, I got it right now. I'm going to use it for shizzle.
And we will be doing this drama show now. There's lots been going on in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people, precisely, I want to get everyone's opinion on everything with Brown. I mean, not nothing big, like, the mainstays, the main drama players,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's, busy with life and everything.
Right.
We're going to bring up situations like Joe Cronin, certain things that I picked up on last couple of days.
Okay, there.
But for the music show next week and the wrestling show, Arknolia, be ready, brother, because we will be bringing the gold, and we will be bringing the good content for the people out there.
All right, there.
Here we go.
All
And
right.
be watching the stars, Arc, if you can, on TV. Help me root for them.
All right.
Okay. I can do that.
All right, there.
Usually they'll be on TBS, ESPN, one of the two channels, or the local Valley Sports channel. Play tomorrow. It'll be in Minnesota, but if we win tomorrow, we move on to the second round, so we should win tomorrow. We'll see.
All right.
But Ark, you do not want to participate in the drama show, correct?
Not particularly. I don't know anything about it.
Oh. We discussed, issues going on within this community and everything else there.
You're going to have to get RP on. He was in the subway system.
All right, there.
We're going to ask him about that.
Okay,
What's about RP's dating life?
Okay, there, definitely. Tell you what, we'll end the show and I'll get everything set up for the drama show coming up there, okay? All right?
Yes.
All right, there. So, because I want to add new thumbnails and a title and everything else there. Prince is staying on for the show just as well there? Is he still here?
Yeah.
All right. All right, there. Okay, I'll end the show right now. We'll be live once again, okay? And until then, we'll see you next Wednesday for Music Maniacs and next Thursday for another wrestling show talking about the great factions in pro wrestling history. All right, for YR, Prince, YR, and I'm getting tongue-tied. For YR, Prince Idol, Arknolia Strokebean, and myself, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care.
We'll see you guys later.
Mm-hmm.